start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So we knew that we live in a world that is very hard. So what about the clarification of resilience? So good morning, judges and all of the participants here. Here I am standing as the first speaker of the government. The motion says that this House regrets the clarification of resilience. So before we start with our argument, let me disclaimer that all of us say is not 100% right. It's all for the debatings. So let me define what is clarification of resilience. Resilience refers to ability of individuals to endure hardship, adapt to adversity, and bounce back from difficult circumstances. It is often promoted in education, workplace, or public policy as a desirable personal trait linked to success and emotional strength. And then what is clarification? Clarification means clarify something too much. No matter is it wrong or right, or this will bring more good or more harm, they will clarify that something no matter what. And then let me crystallization with our motion. This motion will talk about clarification of resilience that do in workplace, public policy, or maybe in school. We will talk about the resilience that given to the normal people in the country, workers, or maybe the student. So what is the status quo of this motion? In fact, there's much of application of resilience we were noticing. For example, in workplace, school, or etc. The example is some of the workers in their workplace push to accept that all of the policy there, no matter it will be hard for them or maybe they should sacrifice their life because of the policy. The example number two is student push to be the academic achiever. They should have the good grades even if they didn't have the passion in that lesson. They do that just to have a label that they have the resilience and not called as the lazy student. The impact is people or workers will feel like they just do something just because of the policy, not because they want to do that. They'll do something just for accepted to the environmental and not called as a lazy people, lazy student, or a lazy worker. And then what's the problem for the SQ? The fact is not everything has to be pushed. Not all of the things in this world have to adapt to the diversity. Everyone is new that our life is hard, but not all of the things has to be resilience. Not everything has to be adapted to the adversity. Clarifies resilience will just make people do something, not with a big heart, but just to be accepted in the environmental and not called lazy. And then what's the burden of proof? Clarifies resilience will bring harm to all of the people. This House regrets the clarification. So, as a first speaker of the government, we agree that this House regrets the clarification of resilience. But why? Imagine there's people, workers, or maybe students that doesn't have the mentality or the confidence to accept a policy, or maybe they can include the adapt to adversity. If we push them to adapt to the situation, it will make something more worse. The public, the workers, or maybe the student will have no choice and didn't have the autonomy to feel their feelings, or maybe there's a people who doesn't or cannot bounce back from the difficult circumstance. We didn't have to push them to bounce back from the difficult circumstance. And the opposition maybe will talk about people should back from the difficult circumstance because life is going on and nobody gonna save you except yourself. But as a first speaker of government, our team will say that everything needs time. Not everyone can be pushed to bounce back from the difficult circumstance. They just need time to be healed. We just need to let them heal time by time and not push them. And then why I say that everything needs time because if we push something to the people, for example, we push them to bounce back from the difficult circumstance, the impact is they'll fake it. They'll say that everything is okay and there's no problem with them. But sadly, all of them is fake. They just saying like that to be accepted in the environmental and not called as a lazy people, student, or the workers. They don't have to have a reprimand to them that being resilient to adapt to adversity or bounce back from the difficult circumstance. Some of them will fake it, and of course, it leads them to stressful things and make what they do or they have done is not in the maximum level. And we should know that all of the people has the endurance to take all of the problem with them. And if we still push them to do something that they have no choice is it leads them to a stressful things and they have a mental illness. So our stance is just so because of the problem in SQ that says about the impact of the clarification of resilience will make people or workers will feel like they just do something just because of the policy, not because of what they want to do. That is, and the burden of proof that says the impact is people will say that everything is okay and there's no problem with them, but sadly it's fake. So as a first speaker of the government, I'll say that this house regrets the clarification of resilience. So what's the goals of the arguments that I say? Number one, the first goal that I want to achieve is to make the inclusive environmental for all of the workers, students, or maybe the public. The inclusive environmentals means that it's an environmental that let them heal time by time and didn't push them to adapt in university because everything will work time by time and it's all didn't need to be pushed. The second goal is we want to save all of our people, our students, and maybe the public and our new generation, our young generation from the mental illness. Because that I say that if we clarify the resilience, all of our people will fake their life. And didn't want to tell the problem of their life because of they don't want to get the reprimand, and it will lead to the stressful and leads them to desperate things and make them have to mental illness. The third goal is we don't want to our people be pushed to do something that actually they don't want to do because it will make them work is make what have they done is not in the maximal level. Number four, all that we should do is to encouraging resilience and educate and social the resilience to people, not to clarify the people. So the conclusion is, as the first speaker, I agree that this house requires the clarification of the resilience because that the status quo says that the impact make people just feel like they do something and the actually they don't want to do, and the burden of proof will say that people will just fake it and to be accepted in environmental. So we agree that this house requires the clarification of resilience because the clarification of resilience makes people be more suffering from with their life and not making them be more stronger, but make them have the mental illness. Thank you.